Notes up. Woohoo! We are live.
Time to relax and find your inner peace. That's what we do. We just sit down Indian style and we're like, yo, we have no control over the internet. It does what it will. Oh, hello, you lovely Linux-loving miscreants. Are you ready for another Wednesday filled with adventure and fun? Then what are you doing here? But since you're here anyway, we're going to do a show for you because we want to tell you about cynical people who use Linux. I don't think there's such a thing. Maybe we'll have a discussion about Discord, snappier snaps on Firefox, and Jill's going to tell you all about a new laptop that's wearing a tuxedo.
Yeah. That's cute.
Hey everyone, how's it going? No fires, just some internet blinkage and
we're okay.
PC rebooting. Jill got to pretend she was a Windows user and rebooted her computer.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's no shame in that. After tinkering with something to a certain extent, you're like, you know what? We're just going to reboot and see what happens. We're going to start with a clean slate. How is everybody doing? Doing good? Are you doing good, Jill? We didn't get to talk much.
I know. I am doing great, actually. I'm looking forward to my Steam Deck. It's supposed to come this weekend, and everyone will know in chat because I will be pasting all the things, pictures.
Was it supposed to show up?
It said Thursday through Saturday.
Saturday. Oh, man. You want to talk about getting stressed out. What does stressed out look like? 5 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon waiting on a package.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's no fun. I've been there. You go through all the stages, too.
Yeah.
You do. Like, well, maybe they're running late. Usually by like 5:45 p.m., I've given up the hope. Like, it'll come Monday then. But you still have faith. Maybe it'll show up on Sunday. Because I've had things show up on Sunday before. It could happen. So, I got kind of excited. All right. Excited is a strong word. I posted a video on our Discord yesterday. I think it was Hot Hardware or the Aussie hardware guys YouTube channel. I can't remember. Is that Hot Hardware? Anyway, they did a roundup of all of the B350 AMD boards and dropping in the new generation, updating because of BIOS and MSI, Asus, and a couple other people have updated it so they work with the latest and greatest AMD CPUs, like the 5600s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting when you think you can take a 5-year-old motherboard, just drop a brand new chip in it, and everything just works. And that was a surprising thing.
Yeah.
It just worked. It was great. They had a good experience with it. And then they benchmarked them against B450 chipsets, which, are the current gen.
Yeah.
Current gen low end, like the B350 was. And we're talking everything was within either rounding errors or like sometimes they would get like maybe a 9%, 10% advantage. So that's kind of neat, especially if you're sitting on a B350. Like, maybe I want to upgrade. And it's an option. That's pretty cool. I like that. I don't have to run out and buy any motherboard. I don't have to upgrade anything right now in Jackbox. Jackbox is so OP for what it does. But I could.
Yeah.
If I wanted to. And it's amazing that we can go from... How much was the original 1700? Not the X, the 1700. I think I got it for like under $300. I want to say.
Yeah. I was going to say 250, I think.
I think like 280. I genuinely don't remember. I think it was under $300. Pretty sure it was under, because I think the 1700X was like $300 at the time. And I could drop up. I was looking at prices like 5600s or under $200. That's a massive, even though it's 6 cores versus 8 cores.
Yeah.
Massive jump in performance. Jump in performance. So, I don't know. Don't need it. I just like the options there. Secretly, I just need to replace the CPU. It's that time in a young boy's life. It's been 5 years. I need to do something.
Yeah.
You get that itch. You do. Every couple of years. About every 4, possibly 5 years. He's like, I need to build a new PC.
Yep, and I'm doing that right now. In fact, I just grabbed a B550 motherboard.
What kind? By who?
Asus.
Asus?
Yeah, it's funny because I usually usually buy MSI boards, but I decided let me go to Asus because I have another system with Asus and I really like the BIOS on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's I've kind of been rolling with MSI just because I know everybody's got their own take on the graphical UEFI, like where they hide stuff and how many menus do you have to go into to get to one setting or where is it at, even though they have a search option that sometimes works. I'm just familiar with MSI at this point. That's all it is. No, I don't have any particular love for MSI.
I understand.
I haven't had an Asus motherboard since, I don't think I've ever bought an Asus motherboard, but I inherited someone gave it to me because they thought I would find it neat. It was probably like in the Core 2 Duo area, but it was one of their like insane overclocking boards back in the day.
Oh, okay.
It just had a bank of nut dip switch jumpers. Remember those? Ooh,
yeah.
This is old. To do all the type of fancy overclocking stuff. I'm glad we no longer live in those crazy weird days. Even though the motherboard that we're being broadcast on right now legitimately has a jumper for liquid nitrogen. No joke. For LN2 cooling, you got to put it in a different mode.
That's so cool, though.
Hello, Steve. You survived another day.
Yeah. Steve has been.
You got to give MSI credit, though, for whatever they did. They were the first ones out of the gate. After that, no, you have to buy this new B5 series chips. We can't use the old motherboard chipsets with the new CPUs. And let's make it happen. They made it official. They put a ring on it for everyone else. And that's so good, especially... I keep coming back. Welcome to me being old. I keep thinking about me being young and broke. I wanted to upgrade. I didn't have enough money to just like write checks out. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to buy this and buy this and buy this. You were always like cruising eBay, Craigslist, places like that. Always trying to get a nice budget bill put together. That's going to help some people out. I think it is. It might not.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve has been. We had an internet outage. Fortunately, it just lasted a few minutes. But we've been having brownouts. It's a warm day here in LA, so I think a lot of people have their air conditioners on, which is causing havoc.
And mine on. It looks like it's settled down. We got let's see. It's a little lower resolution than normal, but you know what?
I'm
Sounds
here.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Worst comes to worst, I can put up a screenshot of Jill and just like juggle it around a bit when you're talking.
Yeah.
We are going to get into this. Pixel mode, man. I have a pixel filter that I could put on. I've never done that. I think I have a pixel filter. Do I have a pixel filter? Let's find out. Effects, image, render, scaling, scroll, sharpen. You know what? It might. If something crashes, it's because I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, so fair warning. No, that's just a sharpening filter. I thought it would work the other way. Restore defaults. All right, let's pull that off. Is there a pixel effect in OBS?
Arthur says, prepare fire extinguishers.
I'm just saying, man. Things can happen. Completely on its own. Has nothing to do with what I'm doing. Render delay, Luma keys. Nope, I could write one. It wouldn't be too big of a deal. Mm-hmm. GStreamer. Pretty easy to tie in. So, you got to do that. I'm about ready to go because I kind of want to get going before the third
things
person
explode.
cuts their AC on in Los Angeles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, that's what do they got the AC on? How hot is it?
Well, it's cool where I'm at, but it's because I'm on the same grid as a third of LA, and it's very hot inland. So it's in the 90s right now inland. Here it's only 72 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 20 Celsius, but inland, yeah, different story. Yeah, but it is humid, and that always makes it feel warmer.
You do that, and let me go get a refill. Do you need to go grab a drink or anything?
Oh yeah, let me
You go ahead and do that.
do that.
I'm gonna scroll up to the top of our show notes, and something I'm gonna give it a quick mention to is what do I want? I want to put this in at the beginning. There's a new release of NVIDIA drivers, right? And I was looking over that. Something that struck me as particularly odd. First time I'd ever noticed it. Which I guess really it's kind of only the second time one would have noticed it. Is reading through the changelog, and it's like, hey, view this, click here for source. That's strange. That was interesting to see. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. I can imagine what is the humidity in LA, like 3%? You're like, it's sticky. I think it's like perpetually around 80% here. That's a bit of an exaggeration. It's probably like 50, something like that. I don't know. I don't pay that much attention to it. It's not been crazy hot. It depends on what you consider crazy hot, though. I mean, it's getting up to like 30, 32 peak during the days, but no one's outside at noon, unless you have to be. I don't think nobody's volunteering like, hey, it's awesome. It's like 32 degrees outside. Let's go do anything outside. Nay. But I did figure out this one thing that was bugging me is it never showed up in Jill shot. But depending on where people have their cameras, right? My camera is genuinely on the other side of the room. I got a zoom lens because I'm sitting with a big monitor in front of me, but the camera's up high and it's coming in. But I got Jitsi would have a thing. They just introduced this feature in typical Jitsi fashion, running our own Jitsi server, where it started showing username. It would say fellow Jitser, and it would just be at the bottom of the screen. There wasn't an option to disable it. It was driving me crazy because of Jordan's shot. Jordan's shot on Linux Gamecast Weekly. It said fellow Jitser. And of course, as is tradition, Jordan immediately took advantage of it. And it was like ankle McStompy pants or something like that. And it was just kind of stuck in that 3-shot. I mean, it was fun, but I wanted to get rid of it. No documentation about the introduction of this. Nothing. So I went through rounds and rounds digging through the nightmare of a config file in Jitsi. I mean, it's documented-ish, but, I'd whittled it down to setting the default username to just dot. And I'm like, there, it'll just be dot. Finally, somebody else got around to asking on the Jitsi forums, like, hey, what's going on with this? To which somebody said, oh, no, you just disable it. It's in the config file. No, it wasn't. Not an existing install. So I had to add the line. Then I could switch it to disable, and I got rid of it. I did a happy dance about that. Heat is fine. I mean, outdoor heat and indoor heat is two completely different things. A job I had during the summertime. I think, secondary school, so teenager, early teen, 16, somewhere in there. Was working at a textile washing facility, and I ran an industrial dryer. 550-gallon dryer. I mean, you could get in it and you couldn't reach anything, and you had like the overhead thing to load. That was heat, man. That was heat. That was rough. Because, I mean, it was always like 38, 40 degrees right around that thing. I'd take breaks. Had to keep hydrated. Is that a happy dance? I don't know. That would require quite a bit of an excitement for me to get in that to dance like that. I'm not somebody subject to break out and dance. It's a character flaw of mine. Maybe I can work on it. That's probably one of the reasons I can't watch musicals. The absurdity of like, here's life giving us a challenging problem. What should we do about it? Let's dance and sing about it. And,
yeah.
It's got to be absurd to the point of something like a Rocky Horror Picture Show. That I'm like, okay, this is just so unhinged to begin with. Of course, in this universe, people would do that. Used to spin my brakes in the walk-in freezer.
Yeah. I'm sure Ven would like that too.
Walk-in freezers are fun. I had a fast food job as a kid, and you had to go through the cooler to get to the freezer. The cooler was where they kept, condiments and like vegetables and stuff like that. But the freezers were the meat pucks, ends of fries. No, that was, and it was always kind of interesting because there was a sheet of ice right when you walked in.
Nice.
Never worked in an ice cream parlor, man. I just imagine an ice cream parlor. Do those even exist anymore outside of like random novelty? Like, hey, look, it's an ice cream parlor. What is
Not
like
really.
Baskin Robbins?
Yeah, but those are just little stores. I mean, sometimes they don't even have seating at those. Just pick up ice cream. Oh, I got my neat kitty cat mug again. Curiosity is more important than knowledge. I like this one, so I'm reusing it.
Unlike the other mugs that Jill owns, she uses them once, takes them out back, and just dashes them against the pavement.
I know.
Oh, man. All right. Cool. Let me get something to drink. We're going to pop back in. We're going to do this thing, Jill Bryan.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, Basilisk. How are you doing? Or Basil. I'm sorry, Basil. No dash for me. Can't say no to ice cream. Absolutely not. Never. I'm going to have some tomorrow, in fact, probably at Disneyland. Hey, Basil, that's nice. You get a vacation. That comes in handy. You need to get some rest. We had our 3-day weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and it was nice having Stephen home. Yeah, Basil, I do Disneyland. Me and my husband go once a month. Because it's the happiest place on earth. It makes me happy. And now that I'm an adult, I can go whenever I want. Yeah. We have annual passes. Oh, Alan. Yeah, and it's close, and that's part of it. Basil, that's kind of our staycation. Is instead of traveling anywhere, we're just staying local and doing local things, and Disneyland is kind of our vacation once a month. So it actually is our vacation. So that way we don't have to worry about leaving our kitty cats. Do 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 do. Yeah, Alan, I've been to all of them. I haven't been to Knott's and Magic Mountain in a while. It's been a few years for both of those before the pandemic, but I have been to them. And I need to go to Universal because I haven't been there in a long. I haven't been to Universal in a decade. So I've been wanting to see Harry Potter Land and. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome, Basil. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have that part of the hotel anymore. They've changed things around, but they're updating it and they're adding new. They just added a new tower. And now there are 3 hotels at Disneyland. It's really expanded, and we have Disney's California Adventure. Yeah, it must be the same. No, they are so good about keeping, Disney as retro and vintage as Walt, as if Walt were alive, but expanding at the same time. They have a nice balance of that. So, Tomorrowland has had some pretty nice updates actually, but they've still kept the architecture and the retro, 50s, 60s modern, and it hasn't changed much. They've just added to it. Well, that would have, yeah. That would have, I think, because I was at the Disneyland Hotel quite a bit in the 80s for Star Trek conventions. So I'm kind of remembering what you're talking about. The old, that was before, yeah, the rehaul in the 90s. Yeah, it's much nicer now.
Worry about Disneyland. We got to go to a far superior land. What's the best land that you could think of? Santa
Podcast Land.
Santa Land,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I've been to a Santa Land or something like it.
I found this place. I know because I've been to it. Why did I find that? Because we decided years and years ago, this is back when I was in graduate school, we're going to Dolly World or Dollywood or whatever it's called. Because we thought, we got to go. We got to see what it is. So we ventured up there and we ran across this place and we popped in and we're like, no, we're not riding anything here. Bye.
Dollywood?
No, Dollywood was very corporate-y, theme. It was Six Flags.
Oh, okay.
Six Flags with more gift shops. I was like, all right, that was fun. We just wanted to say we'd been there. I can't give you any first-hand experiences. This is what it was like.
Okay.
It's 2002. Yeah, 2000.
Oh, okay. It's been a while.
Yeah, I don't like theme parks. I mean, some people take them. I like roller coasters. If I'm around a place that has a roller coaster, that's about it.
So I do. I like the theme parks a little better than regular amusement parks. Although I do love Six Flags Magic Mountain for the intense rides, but you go there for rides, not for theming and immersion.
Right.
So
and
it's a different kind of park. So
I would probably prefer bumper cars more than I would if they would let me have, use a lance. We could joust in them. That'd be pretty dope. But no, they frown on that.
Yeah. Oh, Game-a-tron. No, Six Flags Magic Mountain is the largest amusement park in the world with the most coasters in the world. So they're usually the highest, the fastest. It's the test bed for the Six Flags park. And it's, more like Alton Towers, but a lot larger. It's literally on a mountain. In fact, when you go there, the walking is horrible because you're up and up huge hills, down big ones. It's a lot of walking, but it is an amazing park. And it was just Magic Mountain before Six Flags took it over, but they've kept the same spirit of the original park. And it was the one that was Wally World in Vacation, the movie Vacation. So if you watch Wally World, you'll see some of the old rides that were at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I mean, if you watch the movie Vacation with Chevy Chase, you'll see.
Cool. Let me go down to this. And maybe. Where's that? There it is. Neat. Cool. Let's talk about being cynical.
Mirror, yeah. Six Flags Magic Mountain has the most square footage of any amusement park in the world, actually. Bigger than Texas.
All right. Now, before we engage into some like amusement park square footage battle, let's save that for the after shows.
Yeah,
because I promise you, no one watching right now cares.
Nope, they don't. It's okay. Only Mir does.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, and anything else that we just happen to find interesting. I'm Vince Stone, that is Joe Bryan, together with you, watching us live on Twitch. How is it going?
Woohoo!
We got a packed up show for
everybody
we do. This week. We're going to try to get in and out and quick. We had a little bit of a, wouldn't call it a fire, just like some smoldering embers right before the show.
Yeah.
Turns out the third person in LA cut on their HVAC system, knocked the power out.
Yes, it does happen. But what's unusual is my internet went out for a couple minutes. So that doesn't normally happen.
Is there a more helpless feeling than...
yeah, not at all.
It's a little bit better. I should remember to, charge up my little MiFi puck, LTE puck, or have it with me anywhere near the house, which I rarely do. So when the internet goes down, I'm like, well, what's there to do? I'll go get my book.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a fun society. I think would collapse without the internet very quickly. Not as quickly as the power went out for, let's say, a month, but imagine a week without being able to contact anyone online.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how most of our lives revolve around the internet now. It's just
society. It'd be difficult to buy things. On top of that, how much cash do you have on you? You're not going to be able to use your ATM debit card. You can't use PayPal. Debit. You can't order online.
I know. Me and my hubby always keep a stack of cash in a cupboard.
Remember that, everybody watching the show. Where are you living?
And we have lots of rolls of quarters.
Rolls. So, I know Steve was saying that you were excited about tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're going to Disneyland tomorrow. And me and my husband go monthly, and it's our vacation. So we go every month, and I'm really looking forward to it, going to the happiest place on earth and having a lot of good food and spending time with husband and going on some attractions. And the other thing then is I should be getting my Steam Deck this weekend. Woohoo!
We were talking about that a little bit. What is it, sometime between Thursday and Saturday?
Yeah, that's what my tracking said. So, because of reasons.
Those of you who don't know, that means that you will be hearing the delivery truck starting at about 11:45 Thursday until it eventually shows up. Wait, is that it? Let me go to the front of the house and just take a look at. No, okay.
Might be at midnight.
Was that it? And back and forth, knowing full well you'll get the email notification immediately. And you're like, oh, well, okay. I don't like playing those games, but I've been there and I will continue to be there because I'm a person. Like, did I just hear them drop that off? So, what do we got going on? I noticed something a little strange. It felt weird seeing it yesterday. NVIDIA released some new drivers. Every Linux user's favorite company. Huge fans of open source. Nothing but love. We're going to talk about the cynical thing in a minute, so just calm down.
Yeah.
They released a new driver, and I'm just going over it for Saturday's show. Taking a look, and I get to the bottom, and there's a link next to, like, README, changelog, and it says, source. That was a weird feel. Seeing that on an NVIDIA post. I'm like, oh, let's click that, and we'll go, oh, wow. Yeah, it is. We get source updates and stuff like that. So that was really good to see. Also, I got the Jitsi thing sorted out, which was good. I got rid. You never saw it on the show. We saw it with Jordan because the way I had to crop Jitsi decided to put fellow Jitster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and, of course, Jordan immediately started abusing it, which I'm a huge fan of, fully supported, but I want to get rid of it. And, there wasn't a mechanism in the config file that even addressed this thing. And, I changed it to a dot, kind of a workaround in that nightmare of a config file. And like a week later, come to find out that it was a new feature introduced in Jitsi. And I was reading through because somebody else, I wasn't the only person, like, why did this start showing up? This is messing up my shots. And somebody wrote in like, oh no, you just disable it on this line in the config file. It wasn't in the config file. If you had an existing install, so if you're wondering, yeah, it's there. You just have to add it and change it to false. So yeah, small victories, Jill, small victories. I'm happy about.
That's awesome. Yay.
Now, I refuse to believe that a cynical person in the history of ever has run Linux. We're not a cynical group. We're not.
Like Ben Stone. Always a cynic.
I'm pragmatic. Cynic.
Yeah.
But sick of Windows, but can't afford a Mac. So this is starting off fun. Consult our Cynic's Guide.
Yeah.
To desktop Linux. Oh man, a reasonable list of the least bad, the best of the worst, you might even say. Linux distributions. A couple of things on here, and again, I just don't think cynical people run Linux, and I'm only half joking. The list consists of like Debian and 9 inferior distributions. Yeah, it does. Like my previous statement, this article is just something to stir the pot, generate some comments, and hey, let me know what you think in the comments, fam.
Yeah.
On the list, what do we have? We got Ubuntu, we got Mint, Debian, Fedora, and the types of people who run SUSE on the desktop. Yes, contrary to popular belief, that is not just legend. I know for a fact people run SUSE on the desktop. We have 2 of them in our Discord, and it kind of shows. Yeah. We have Debian and Arch. Well, that's the thing. Like Debian and Arch, they get a lot of babies, derivatives.
Yeah, they sure do.
So this list covers a lot of them, and it's a good thing we have these derivatives because we get nice things like Mint, Pop, Manjaro. The list also includes Chrome OS Flex, but it didn't include Windows Subsystem for Linux, Jill, and I would say those two are about the same thing because neither of them are really a Linux distribution, now are they?
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, and this was really a fun tongue-in-cheek article. He did say it in the article that Ubuntu Mate and Xubuntu are not niche distros, are niche distros, but no, actually they are niche. They aren't niche distros. They are official Ubuntu flavors that are supported quite heavily and regularly. So that was inaccurate in the article, but it's okay. It was a really, there was a lot of truth in that article about the different distros, especially for new users. And I really enjoyed reading the guide that he wrote. His name was Liam Provin. And even though I didn't agree with everything he said, I do like that he chose Linux because it sucks. He says it sucks less than other OSs. So there is that.
You gotta write stuff I understand the whole point of the article is like to churn up. It's like, ooh, this is gonna get people talking, and it did. There's I think 200 and something comments on that article because everyone's got to jump in.
Yes.
I would have been like, yeah, just run Debian and everything else, yeah. And, but it made me think about it. We have in these camps, in reality, everything's an off branch of either Debian. Fedora is just kind of its own thing. I know there's spins of Fedora or something that's spun off of Arch and Manjaro, Babby's first Arch.
Yeah.
So everything else is just a different take on that. And I know I've said it a couple of times on this show, and I've probably harped on it more on Linux Gamecast Weekly. I just don't care what distribution I run so much as if it boots, neat. If it boots with network support, bonus. And if it boots into X or Wayland these days, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I can rip anything else out. And that's why I kind of stress learning how to use Linux, not to get locked into how a particular distribution does a certain way.
Absolutely.
And over the last decade of making guides for people, that's why I always jump to the terminal, because that terminal is going to work no matter if you're on SUSE, on Manjaro, on Debian, on Fedora, on Mint, on Pop. Pop was included. It was good to see Pop in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like you, Vin, with Linux, Linux to me is I can run any distro at any time as long as I have, basic internet and the tools that I need. I don't care what distro I'm in. And usually I don't even run the default desktops of the distros. So I still like my X window managers.
That was one of the things that was brought up in this little piece of like, well, it's just a bunch of confusion. I think they were talking about Mate. It's like it comes with different desktop managers, and like that's a plus, not a negative. Yeah, definitely with Ubuntu Mate. And but yeah, he had a really good point. Is that there is a lot of choice in Linux, and that can be confusing for new users. But it's that choice that makes Linux special and what makes it unique. And no, Joe, you're clearly just describing the fragmentation problem that Linux has.
No, it's not fragmentation. It's choice, and experimentation. And because of fragmentation, there's been progress in the desktop in the mainline distros. Like, for instance, Ubuntu Mate. A lot of the innovation there has landed in the stable Ubuntu releases. So there's a good reason for all those derivatives.
One of the things about, and you will see the fragmentation thing brought up a lot, it is an arena of ideas, and that's good. You got a bunch of them fighting it out with different takes. And you know what? The good things surface to the top. That's what Jill's trying to get to you. And that's how it works. And that's, you're not stuck with like the Windows 11. Hey, guess what? You're a Mac now. You have the taskbar in the middle of the screen. Oh man, that was delightful. For weeks I get to see people screeching about that.
I know. So something so simple, and we as Linux users are like, what? We've been customizing our desktops for so many years. It's
put it where you want, but this is one of the rare times, man. I was like, that's where I have my XFCE launcher. That's the right place to put it. Deal with it. So good article. True. This will be in the show notes if you want to go back and let us know what you think about it. Leave a comment on YouTube video or send in some email, however you want to do it, because we need to talk about Discord on the desktop. Somebody's angry.
Yeah. So this is a letter to Discord for not supporting the Linux desktop by not updating it to a newer version of Electron in the Electron framework, which the Discord app uses on Linux and Windows. So Discord actually, really needs to rebase to a newer version of Electron to, fix everything from security bugs and improve stability and improve compatibility with newer technologies. Especially on Linux, we have Pipewire and Wayland. And unfortunately, the Discord app currently does not support Pipewire and Wayland. And, and audio and video from the Electron app on Linux does not work on the Steam Deck. Hello, Discord, are you listening? It is not working on the Steam Deck. You have a potential of a lot of new users of Discord on the Steam Deck, and that does need to be supported. And it's just all these annoying things about it. Like me and you, Vin, we have to update a deb for Discord, every month or so, and that gets annoying. It really does, having to update constantly. So it would be nice if there was a smoother way for them to do that, maybe making it a flat pack or just updating Electron and doing the updates internally on the app. They do updates to the software, but major updates you have to download and install. So
I'm looking at according to Strider, it does work on the Steam Deck. So
okay. See, I haven't had a chance to test it because I don't have my Steam Deck yet. Does does the audio and video work, Matthew, on the Steam Deck?
That probably would be it. Like you couldn't get something to test out. Strider, you're looking for something to do this afternoon? There you go. Let me know. But Jill, we're talking about Discord, so I feel it is my personal responsibility. Have you heard about Matrix?
Yes, I use Matrix at work. Yes. And it is a good Discord alternative.
Now we're getting into it right there. It's like, we're talking about this Matrix. Well, let me tell you about Matrix. All right. This is the common thing with Matrix fan base. It's pretty interesting. Oh yeah. # just quit using Discord. Look, I saved everyone a lot of comments. I just did because that was have you heard about Matrix? Why are you using Discord? That's dumb. Tell me why you use Discord. That's where the people are. You want to talk to people watching your show or doing your thing, or you want to hang out with your friends. Why did Skype live for so long? Everybody's using Skype. Grandma was using Skype. Grandpa was using Skype.
Everyone
you wanted
to
talk to your family. You had to use Skype. Guess what? Discord's that thing now.
It is. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So, to whether or not is Discord listening, they're not. I guarantee you they're not. Discord is in the try desperately to monetize the business model phase of their business currently. That's what they're doing. Don't expect a lot of reach out for any of this. It's just not going to happen. I mean, they're you're seeing it with what's getting released and updated with Discord. How can we, monetize this or monetize this? That's just where they're at. That's not for good. That's not for bad. But yeah, Discord, you got some old electron bones, and you might even call it outdated because that would be something I like to call accurate.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause issues like pipe wire moiling. That's the new stuff. In just 10 years from now, everyone's going to be using that. So you need to keep an eye on it. And he does bring up a point. He's like, hey, can we get all this crammed together and just working in a flat pack? To which I'll argue maybe. I mean, I'd rather see it in a flat pack than a snap, but more on that in just a minute. I do want to say for my arch-loving brothers and sisters out there, there is a Discord package that will use your native version of Electron. If this is something you want to work around, that's not a problem. But the real moral of this entire story, Joe, is that you should just run Discord in the browser like a normal person. Okay?
There is that.
I wouldn't even call it a desktop. I run Discord on, I have Discord up on a tablet, and I have Discord in a tab in a browser. That's where it lives. I do have the app open right now, but that's just because we're streaming. And I don't need it for that. But yeah, I don't think a glorified web page that is Discord really needs its own separate app. Maybe you feel different, and that's cool. We can still hang out. You can come over to my house. We'll play Sonic the Hedgehog. But
it used to be once upon a time, Ven, with the Discord app, you had to run it to get all the features. That all the features weren't available on running it from the web, but now that's changed. So
that's my secret, Jill. I didn't use any of those features.
Yeah.
I'm one of those crazy people that, what did you use Discord for? Chatting. But it does all this other nonsense that you don't, chatting. Yeah. I do that. Hey, maybe they'll get it sorted, but I wouldn't hold my breath. In the meantime, go tell more people about Matrix. I got to play with Matrix at some point, but we have a Discord as well. Check that out. Now, we're talking about Firefox and snaps. We've been over it a couple times. We've addressed it. The internet's addressed it. And Canonical hasn't listened to anybody. I'm just kind of kidding. They've listened enough to be like, hey, we need to get on this. Maybe we need to get ahead of this. So we got a post from the blog, How We're Improving Firefox Snap Performance, Part 1. I like to see that. I do like to see that. This is not one and done. How are you going to prove why? What stock photo did you dig that out of? All right. What is this going to be about? All right. You might know Firefox got snapped up in 2110. And everyone was crazy excited about it. And not excited in the good way. Still crazy excited about it. And currently, like all snaps, they make a good point. He makes a very good point. It's really slow to open on first boot. dreadfully. Like, how slow is it? Oh, let me tell you, it takes over 20 seconds to cold open on a Raspberry 4, a quad core. That's enough time to go get something to drink and come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's huge.
So this post lets us know about some of the slowness Canonical has identified. They've looked at it. They've taken a look at the performance. Like, hey, we can improve here. We can improve here. We can probably improve here. It even tells you, the user, how to get the benchmarks, to get your own data, your own statistics, so you can play the home game. And I thought that was pretty nice of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't mention, for some reason, I did Control F and I just couldn't find it, Jill. And I did look. They didn't tell anyone how to really fix the performance until they get all of this fixed in Snap. And that's to install the Firefox Thunderbird PPA.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I do. Your
performance problems, and it just starts up every time, and it's updated by the Mozilla team, and
or the tarball from the Mozilla website, like I
just
do.
Download it and launch it, and then double click on it, and you get done like that. That fixes the problem too. But hey, if you like testing unfinished software in production, Snaps, go for it. I don't know. And I'll give Snaps as much static as I'll give Flatpaks. I'm not sold on desktop application containerization. I'm waiting for somebody to change my mind. I still very much feel like we're solving problems that I was unaware we had. And again, I could just be old, and I'm very well telling the next generation to get off my non-containerized lawn, Jill. What are your thoughts on this?
I feel the same too. What is wonderful about this, though, is that it is a partnership. Canonical builds the Snap, but is published and maintained by Mozilla. So the Firefox Snap is the push Canonical needs to improve Snap speeds. We've been waiting a long time for improvement on Snap speeds. And again, this will help them improve snaps on the cold start when the program first launches, and help them focus a bit more on the desktop again. That would be nice. Have more focus on the desktop. But yeah, I agree with Vin. I don't use containers unless I absolutely have to. Generally, I like to install my debs and or DNF, all the things. So yeah, snaps do really need to be improved. But what was really awesome in this article is it went into detail on where it needs to improve. Like when you cold start Firefox in the SquashFS seeking, because it is a compressed file that unpacks, in the software rendering, in the extension handling, because Firefox looks for the extensions of previous versions of Firefox on your system and loads the extensions, and font and icon handling, as well as many other things that the app does when you load a Snap. But I'm glad they went into detail about it, and they're asking for help to solve a lot of these problems. That's something else that we've needed.
It is very much reading down a list of like, oh, we need to fix this, we need to fix this. It's like, that's great. We're going to get all this sorted before we push out in production.
Yeah. Yes.
I wish him best luck. I have nothing but love for everybody working on that project. Maybe you'll get it sorted. Maybe it'll be a thing. Who knows? Now we get to do something that I haven't got to do in a while.
Yeah.
And that, Jill thinks we're going to be talking about a laptop. And that's incorrect. What I'm going to be doing is seeing how well they photoshopped the laptop picture.
I know. Yeah. Look at that. The lighting.
All right. Let's get this grade here. I'm not seeing any overspill going around. We're looking good. Now, you kind of did an easy one right there with the Starfield. Okay, that's a little sharp. That's a little sharp on the CPU right there. Maybe round that off a little bit. That's looking good. It's got a 3D at the top. Right, yeah. Okay, outside of the AMD 5000 Ryzen, I'm going to give you a 7 out of 10 on the screen shoot. Yeah. So well done, Tuxedo.
They did a good job with the lighting and everything. It's on there on the processor.
So Jill's going to tell you all the boring stuff.
Yeah. So the German-based company Tuxedo Computers has introduced a new Linux laptop as an affordable business all-rounder, they call it. It's the Tuxedo Ara 15 Gen 2. And
is it just me, or does it look like starting like from the, like around the U and I, like there's a lump in the middle of this thing, with that keyboard?
Oh. Yeah, I
Could
didn't
just be
notice
me.
that before.
It's got a full numpad though, so I'd take a lump.
Yeah, just little positions of the keys are moved in a little bit awkward way, but you know what? That's common for laptops, especially if they wanted to get the numpad on there. So that does happen. But anyways, the specs of this laptop are amazing. It includes the AMD Ryzen 7 5700U with 8 cores and 16 threads, and an AMD Radeon RX Vega 8, and USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 with DisplayPort 1.4 and power delivery. Optional LTE module for 4G LTE mobile high-speed web access. That's a nice touch. 180-degree rotatable display hinge with a 15.6-inch Full HD display at 300 nits. Very nice screen. And despite how thin and light it is at only 3.6 pounds, it comes with a gigabit LAN RJ45 port. So you can actually do streaming on it.
It's got a full-size port, but it's also got that full-size, like, that's going to break port. The one that, like, expands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to knock it, but you got to call it what it is. I'm looking at up to 9 hours of endurance. So that's at 150 nits brightness and wireless modules turned off. At least you're being honest about it, which is good. So about 7 hours browsing the web and 9 hours of watching YouTube videos.
Yeah. Yeah, it has good battery life, and that's a plus of this laptop.
How much is this going to cost me?
I did a configuration with the Ryzen 7, 16 gigs of RAM, 500 gigabyte NVMe, installed with their Tuxedo S 22.04, which is based on Ubuntu, and it came out to be just over €1,000 and just over $1,000 US dollars. So it's not a bad price. It's actually a really good price for this quality of laptop.
For a reasonably configured one that you want to use. The base model starting at €789, which it's going to get you like 8 gigs of RAM, NVMe 250 gigs and all that. And if you're living in Europe, this is a great solution to getting hit by, just reality economics of it, ordering a System 76. Because, that's €789. That's including tax. That's your 19% tax markup on that, and you're going to get hit with that and all the other fun stuff. So when you're on that side of the pond, definitely. Tuxedo's been around a long time.
They were one of the first distributors putting Linux on their hardware. So,
right.
Awesome.
Pretty decent. You know what else is awesome, Jill?
What, then?
Us.
We're
patrons. Very, very awesome. Not as awesome as our patrons. If you would like to become one of our awesome patrons, head over to linuxgamecast.com, and we got a support button right there. We got a bunch of things that you can support. Pick a level that's comfortable for you. We turn that into entertainment, hopefully educational material, live streams when we get a chance, and you get a couple of things in return. You get to hang out in our super secret Discord, which is great. That's awesome. It's a fun time, but don't worry about that. I hear you. You're like, I don't want... We have an IRC channel. And it's tied into our Discord's live channel. So if you're live, you can be in IRC or Twitch, and we can all hang out and talk together. But as a patron, we got a special show we do for you every Saturday called the Pre Super Shows. And if you're wondering what our thoughts are and just current events, movies, films, TVs, everything else that's not necessarily Linux related, that is there waiting for you each and every week in podcast and video format. Plus, you get the long and uncut, live and uncut, linky and uncut, however you want to call it.
Yes.
Versions of these shows, which is just the full live stream, but it's been produced, edited, just for any, ins and outs and like that. But it's about 2 hours long, hour and a half long, and we're going to give that to you in MP3 and video for your viewing enjoyment. But we got a store. You can do that on top of everything else. It is there at linuxgamecast.com. We even have Amazon wish list if you want to pick up something and make Jill read a note.
Yeah. Or Ven read a
Read
note.
a note. I got a stack of them on my desk, man. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of fun. You can find the links to that.
My booklet of all the things that
Jill collects them.
Yeah, my patrons have sent us. Our beautiful patrons.
So unfortunately, they're out of the non-RGB penguin.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, they are. Yes, I have lots of penguins and penguin mugs.
That typical Joe Bryant. So
yeah,
there it is. I got one for the studio. I don't really have a personal one, but I'll put you up on this wall back here if you want to be named and shamed. That is also a thing we do. Thank you for your support. And hey, that's a little bit better than, I don't know, MeUndies.
Yeah.
Haven't bought underwear on. I buy socks online though. I have a recurring. Okay, like
underwear,
bath towels, and socks. I have on like a 3 to 6 month. They just show up at the house from Amazon. I'm like,
yeah.
Hey, look, more socks, which encourages me to wear socks out quicker. Yeah. All right, slice of pie for you. Slice of pie. And we're talking about cyber decks, so we need some cyber pie.
Yeah. That was a good picture, Ven.
Piece of crust. Yeah.
Piece of pie next to a raspberry pie, and it looks kind of like a cherry pie. It's red of some sort, or a raspberry pie.
You might call it lazy. I call it efficient. It's the
a raspberry pie next to a raspberry pie.
It's the bye pie.
Yeah.
We're not saying bye pie. We're saying hello pie. To Raspberry Pi 2.0. Every time I read about the 02W, all I go is like, I have one of those that I've not done anything with, and I got to do something with it. But somebody's made a pocket-sized Python experience for Pico projects on the go, because, man, you really, really want to do training some AI in Python on the go with the Raspberry Pi 0W2. Probably not, but you can. I don't know. I kind of went over this, and I looked at it, and I'm like, Jill, this looks like Pi 0 taped to a battery bank.
It does. It does. But I thought it was cool that the whole idea of this project was so that he could learn Python on his Pico Pi. So I thought that was really, really cool. And it looks, it's not completely finished looking product, so anyone can do this.
What are you talking about? That would absolutely go right through the TSA when I'm being onboarded, Jill. They wouldn't have never ask a question about it. They're like, that's clearly not it. Yeah, that's you were saying though, man, if you can sell me, because that's a tiny little screen too. Yeah,
it is a really tiny screen, but he's able to, do all the programming he needs for his Raspberry Pi Pico with it. So it works for him. And I like that he just took, he bought one of the little Raspberry Pi keyboards and little screen and just slapped it on there. And it works. It's a portable computer that's functional. And he's got good vision, though, to be able to read the code on that. I was about to say, because we're looking at the video, and like, if you really zoom the camera in, you kind of read the text on the screen. Yeah. I mean, how big is that? And what would be the freedom units? Maybe it's 3 inches?
3 or maybe 4 inches?
4 inches, yeah.
I guess it'd be usable. But hey, he did the good thing. He made a list. There's a Dropbox link with a guide of all the parts list, and it's something that you can stick together with some double-sided tape. Literally using double-sided tape, which gets the job done. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know, like portable things like that, they're novelties for me. Now, granted, I couldn't do anything that he would be doing with that with a tablet, but yeah, for mobile needs, like anything more than, what you do on your phone, I'm kind of there. But that's neat. It exists. So yeah, if you're building something like that, send it in. We'll talk about it. We'll look at it. We'll play a video and go, neither of us could really use that. Joe couldn't read it, and that keyboard's too small for me to use it. Yeah. So it'd be very interesting it's a beautiful team building exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a beautiful example of a cyber deck Python Pi, honestly.
I get it. I get it. And that's all I can say with the cyber deck things. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hate on it, but there's that. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can always send us an email. Yeah, an email through our contact form, linuxteamcast.com/contact. That's the best way to do it. if you want to be heard, we'll make sure it gets distributed to where it needs to go. Don't send it in a bunch of spammy links because you know what? Go ahead and do it because I get some joy. Once a month, I'll check our spam column and just see somebody trying to get a link through, not reading, even though there's an email address right there on the page to send things with hyperlinks. It entertains me slightly. You want to do that? Leave us a comment on Patreon, leave us a comment on YouTube video, or you could do like this kid did. Hit us back on Twitter because we were talking about the HP. Was it HP? No, Compact.
No, it was the HP Dev 1, the new laptop.
All right. So it was HP. It was the first one I said.
The first one, yes.
Yes. I could remember. I get HP and Compact confused.
Yeah, because they did take over Compact, yes. But this is the HP Dev 1, and it was a collaboration between System 76 and HP, and they put Pop! OS, the wonderful Ubuntu-based Pop! OS Linux on it.
Well, they get everything together. I mean, it's a new piece of hardware. They got a custom in, but more importantly, they got support. We had some questions up to including, like, I don't like soldered-in RAM, but System 76, Carl writes in to let us know. First, thanks for covering the Dev 1. Like, that's cool. Answer a couple of questions. Is the memory usable? Memory is user upgradable. I cannot feel like Englishing this afternoon very good. Well, 64 gigabytes. So yeah, you can put some more memory RAM into that. And one of my questions, support. Who do you call? Not the Ghostbusters. Nay, they have trained a team at HP, which I found out later on reading through our Discord. To provide tech support. So yeah, they'll also be embedded with our support teams throughout the year for extra help as needed.
Aw.
So you do call HP for support. Yeah.
Thank you, Carl Rochelle, for getting back to us. He is the founder and CEO of System 76. And that was really, really cool. I know they watch LWW over at System 76, and that was really cool to get a response from
I don't know
Carl.
if they watch. I just know we got half the team in our Discord.
Yeah.
So, the one thing I want to know is what happens if you got a Dev 1 and you call System 76 for tech support? What happens there? I don't know. You know what? I'll have an answer to this from somebody before the end of this evening. But because you got to imagine this has happened, right? You got a box, you want to play around with Linux, like, hey, install Pop! OS. Somebody installs Pop! OS. They have a problem with Pop! OS on, their generic box that they bought. Who are you going to call? Not Ghostbusters. They're like, I bet this has tech support. So they call System 76. I'm like, hey, I installed your operating. What do you do with that call? You're like, that's nice. Bye. Maybe not. Who knows? That's a fun thing to think about. I'll let you know next week how they handle that, allegedly, or if I can say how they handle it. I don't know. I assume they're very polite and nice about it. So that's going to do it for this week, Jill. We're at 37 minutes, a little bit long, but we had a good time. We got everything covered that we needed to. So I'm going to bring up some music, and you know what? We're going to roll some credits for those Patreons we were talking about.
Yeah. We have so many wonderful patrons. We got Artherin. He's our advisor. And we got lots of executive producers. Oh, we got Omegas is an advisor as well. And our executive producers are Aldius, Barbrandt, Scott M, Atomic, Mike G. I was careful not to say Atomic's last name. And we have our Sea Monsters. And our Death Notes. We got Dirty Dean in there. And our chairlings, like Mir in chat. We have Mir and all the people watching right now.
You said we got Mir in chat, then we have Mir. So do we have two Mirs or not? Answer.
We got Mir PPC.
All right, beautiful people. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right, let me get that stopped. Where's my cursor? There it is.
Oh.
All right. So we got through that.
I was just happy to get through it. My
it just
UPS
blinked.
is beeping on me. Oh.
Let's see. My English is perfectly understood, baby. That's good. Me and Pedro will get into a problem when we're talking, because me and Pedro will devolve our ability to speak English very quickly. So we always get on to Pedro about that. I'm guilty of it too. Bit flips.
I am too. We were both a little off, but it still was a fun show.
Jill, you have no excuse.
I was off because I was nervous about my internet going on time. Because I kept hearing my UPS turn on and off. I'm like, oh, now here it comes.
You were brought up with the English language.
Yes. But I also spoke Spanish quite a bit as a youngster.
My mom spoke English, but I mean, it wasn't spoken around the house.
Yeah, but it was your second language until you came here, huh?
No, until I was 9. But like most people, I learned watching TV. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah.
3 laptops. Hey, you got 3 laptops? That's a personal problem. Oh. Run your VMs in the cloud. Come on. I was thinking about moving everything. All of our web hosting. I'm like kind of curious about moving that to a different provider, but I don't want to manage it myself.
Oh, yeah.
Those days are long gone. I have no desire that you don't even call it a lamp stack anymore. There you go. You don't want me setting up anything web facing these days.
Oh, hi, Becco Farm.
VHS. Okay, you can buy graded VHS tapes now. Like, you know, from the graded like quality of vintage games. Like, oh, this one's in great shape. Original packaging. They sell those now. It's starting to become a thing. People are collecting VHS tapes, Joe.
Oh, yeah. My husband actually just threw away some ones that aren't. They're just movies and TV shows that now you can, watch on Netflix or whatever. But I still have a lot of my old VHS tapes because they have, like, for instance, I still have, when I recorded Star Trek back in the early 80s on our first Philips VHS recorder, because between episodes there's Star Trek specials and whatnot that aren't online. So including some specials where they interviewed me at conventions and whatnot. So those are too important to get rid of. So I need to start.
Yeah. It's like the ones that you bought. Can you imagine?
Oh.
Like a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that's got a 7.5 grade on it. Investment grading. Oh. How much would you pay? Nothing. Yeah. Is exactly how much I would pay, but people are going to start collecting these.
It's like vinyl to this younger generation of VHS tapes.
Should I grade? I mean, you know what? If you get some VHS tapes that are in good shape, put them in a box, give them to your ancestors, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to trade it. Look at that. $10,100 for a Mario Brothers graded sealed VHS tape.
Oh my gosh.
It's gone now. Somebody bought it.
Wow.
So there you go.
Wow.
You could be a thousandaire from your VHS collection. Which is ridiculous. Up next, Jill, we need to do cassette tapes.
Yeah.
The original cassette tape covers.
I still have thousands of those in my collection, mostly of my radio shows. Yeah, the problem is the time it takes to back everything up. I mean, I've some of my most important shows I've made copies of to disk and backed up data to the computer, but it's a Herculean task.
Well, I mean, they do make tape replicators that Well, it's basically the reverse of a replicator. If you ever had to work with a cassette replication, you can do it at 4x, 6x speed.
Yeah, I actually have one for my 5 1/4 for one of my computers. It's a tape machine for the computer that'll speed up, and it will record it to a FLAC or a WAV or whatever, and that's convenient.
The only thing that worries me about cassette tape as a medium is like early cassette tapes. Like, and I'm talking very early when cassette tapes were expensive.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the run, like VHS, they got the same way. Like the quality of materials. Floppy disk are the same way, man. You think about an old floppy disk that you got like from back in the day, like you bought from in a game box, that thing still works. 100%. Yeah. Even if it's like an Amiga or like an Apple IIe. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Towards like the mid to late 90s, man, you might get a month or two out of those. Like those things
were
trash.
Horrible. Yeah.
Strider, is that your personal copy? Is that what you watch at night to help you go to bed? If it is, that's good. That's awesome. That's a good thing to go to sleep to because, that's got Vanilla Ice in it. Doing the ninja rap, which is the highlight of that movie. It is your copy? Nice. How did one come across? Now, my fanfic version is like, this is your personal copy that you carry with you everywhere you go. I'm fully aware reality's probably more boring than that. When was the last time you called tech support for anything, ever? I'm trying to think. I don't know if
I haven't in years.
I was thinking about that this week. I'm like, I don't know if I have. I don't want to say I have never done it because I had to have called somebody at some point for tech support. And it could be in anything. It doesn't have to be PC tech support. It could be, automotive tech support or... I don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I know it's had to have happened. That's what's bugging me. And
I know I have before. I think I think the last time I did was for phone service. That would have been about 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah.
See, it does involve a call. Now, last time I hit up like charter business. Last time it was like squirrely because I have to go through this 3-step thing before getting my 24-hour SLA agreement processed or whatever. And it's irritating. And the customer support, yeah. Call though, like picked up. Oh, I got it. Couple of months, like 2 months ago. I don't know if this counts. I had to call support to get a RMA. Does that count, Jill?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that does. Yeah. You had to have a ticket. Oh, yeah, you did. That wasn't that long ago.
About 2 months ago. I had to
Yeah.
Genuinely, I didn't actually pick up the phone. I think I called him when I was in here.
Yeah.
So... yeah.
Newegg.
Don't you have like 2 or 3 routers that Newegg never shipped you?
Yeah, I think I remember that.
I mean, there was a couple of months of you like waxing and waning over the shipment status of your router. And you finally just got on the bus and went to Staples or wherever and bought one. Did you get charged for them? Is your neighbor like full of routers now? You got it at Target. Because I know you posted that picture in Discord and like of a DOCSIS 3.0 modem. Like, that's an antique. Do not buy that. Man. Yeah, I've never had the misfortune of being stuck archiving anything. Like, I did that with slides. I archived some slides for a friend.
Oh, and that takes forever. Yeah. Uh-huh. Did you have the little slide scanner? I've done that before.
I had a like very legitimate not inexpensive Polaroid slide scanner, like dedicated, like it
Yeah.
can do one slide at a time. But
Yeah.
trust me, I wanted to like buy a flatbed scanner and be like, blunk, and just do it like that. But these were important slides of his artwork that he's a college professor, and
Yeah.
he wanted it done right. And I'm like, I'll do it for you.
You know what, Ben, that's so funny because I did that for one of my professors too, who was a photography teacher and didn't have time. And I offered, and it took a lot longer than expected, but he had bought like the $5,000 scanner for it and everything. And I got it all set up, and it was pretty cool. It just took forever. Once I got it going, then I was able to show him how to do it. So for his future pictures, he could do it. So that was nice. And he did pay me well.
I didn't charge him anything to do it because this was, it gets done when it gets done with the occasional phone call. I had to call him or send him a text message. I'm like, is this supposed to be fake? Because it was all of his artwork that he had done over 60 years, man. I guess about 50 years at the time. And the thing about like slides, there's no hard and fast rule of which way is not reversed. Yeah. Like usually if it's going to be text facing, you want that facing towards the lens. And sometimes, with people, it's pretty easy. You can take a slide, put it on, get an eyepiece, look for wedding rings or signs or doorknobs and stuff like that and figure out which way it's supposed to be flipped if it's in question.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with artwork and stuff like that, you don't have those indicators. So there were some things, it's like, I don't think that's the right way. Tony, hey, which way is this supposed to be? Which one is it? I sent him a picture, email, and he's like, this way. I'm like, okay, fine. I was just saving myself that call like 2 years from now. I'm like, this one's backwards. I'm like, flip it. How do I flip it? I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, Mira, I remember when you were going through and asking for advice on how to correct colors and everything.
Oh, did they pull us? I got a portable microfiche reader.
Yeah, that was a thing too. I still have microfiche.
I couldn't afford the shop. Here we go. This is a weird statement. I couldn't afford the shop manual set for my Porsches. If that makes sense. It was much cheaper to get them on microfiche. Oh, man.
Trackmania music. Every time I hear this song now on anywhere, it's Trackmania music.
Hey, you don't have to play. You just come and sit in the Trackmania server on Spectate for the bump and soundtrack I've included.
Yeah. I know them all by heart now.
There's usually like a lot that we don't get to listen to because when I restart the server, it starts at the top of the playlist.
Yeah. Okay. So it
there's
doesn't
some
go through
that
the whole thing.
Yeah, you won't hear a couple of them until after it's like gotten out of sync with cycles of cycling the maps a couple of times. And like I'll pop in, I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that one in a couple of months. Speaking of tongues, man, everybody should work on their own motoring vehicles. It's a fun, rewarding experience, especially if you own cars that you don't have enough money to pay someone else to fix.
Yeah.
Life hack. Don't do it. Those cars are long gone. Yeah. Well, you're into like fun, bizarre things with, because I never had any expensive Porsches. I had 912. I had stock 85 and 1/2-2, so it had the refreshed interior 944. If you ever think, if you're the age, if you're in your early 20s and you're like, I'm going to get my starter Porsche, because you can pick up I don't know what they price now, but back then you could get a 944 for about a fixer-upper for about $1,300 to $1,600. Like, all right. You'll never get everything fixed on them. It just get ready to light money on fire. And that didn't stop me because then I got a 951 after that. And yeah, I finally got all that out of my system. You don't want to be perpetually, unless you're that person that likes to have a car that there's always something to fix on. I'm not that person. Not at all. Fifth injector? I don't know. Like, it was always like weird things with like the 951 because like getting just okay. If you ever have to do any exhaust work in a 951, take it to a shop. I don't care how much it costs. You do not need to ever deal with that the way the exhaust is routed out. Or if you ever have to mess around, because it's got an electric water pump on it. Because the turbo is water cooled.
Yeah.
Instead of being oil cooled, which is weird. And here's something that...
Water?
Oh, yes, water.
Yeah, water cooled. Okay,
H2O.
that is unusual.
Here's something that I never quite understood. And I was thinking about this earlier this week because I remember when I first got it, it took me, because I had to rebuild the top end before I even drove it. And I cut it off the first time. Parking lot closed it. I just went down the road a bit just to see if, is it going to blow up? And it was like, I'm like, what's running? Oh, no, something's wrong. I nicked something in the wiring harness and something's running. It's not supposed to be running. Great. Lovely. I thought I fixed it. Find out that once you cut it off, the water pump keeps running to help cool everything down. I was like, that's a neat idea. Wouldn't it be neat if AIOs, your water cooling system and your CPU could do the same thing too? Instead of just abruptly cutting off. Like gradually bring down the temperature. I don't know. Like the last thing I was planning on doing, there's a company called Renegade Hybrids that do Corvette LT1 engine kits. And I thought about doing that for a minute and I decided against it. I've skirted not being alive enough on my own. I don't need help.
Don't want to delve into building kit cars and all that, like my hubby and his brother used to do.
I don't want to mess around with that. I'm old now.
Yeah.
I got a reliable car. My next car is going to be electric and reliable, hopefully.
Yeah.
Turbojetta was like the first boring car in my life that I ever bought, like a 4-door saloon. I'm like, yay, look, you just get in it and it starts every time. You don't have to check radiator fluids or anything. Just got it on, goes. I'll be good with that. I'm living that old life.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, our next car will be electric, and we're going to have to get one pretty soon.
Maybe a good time, probably the next 5 years to pick up. Like there'll be some legitimate options if you don't want to go Tesla. And the only reason Tesla's first and foremost is the charging infrastructure for Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can drive to Jill's house with my Tesla.
In
a reasonable amount of time,
My nephew got the Pony, the Mustang electric, and it's been wonderful too. He loves it.
They got some neat ones. I've seen some nice looking electrics from Kia. They're out.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to buy any more internal combustion vehicles now that there is a semblance of a charging network. It's just, and I do it from a strictly mechanical speaking of how many moving parts are in this versus the Rube Goldberg mechanism that is the air pump engine of a modern internal combustion. It's psychotic these days.
Well, what's nice is, here in LA, we've had charging stations everywhere for many years. And they were smart. They started putting them early. People weren't using them then, but now everyone's using them. They're everywhere. So that's really cool.
That was one of the things.
Infrastructure.
The infrastructure just hindered, and Tesla spent the money and got it right because the last thing you want to do. I borrow my friend Wesley's Teslas not all the time, but at least every 6 months I go steal one if it's charged, Wesley.
Yeah, that's the thing.
A Tesla will die just sitting unplugged because it uses power. And, but being able to hit a supercharger, because I've been in a spot where I had to use the adapter to a regular charger, you're talking hours, man. Compared to the Tesla supercharger, you just stick that thing in, you got 30 minutes and you're good. That's what Tesla got right, building out that supercharger network. Yeah, fast charging for road trips. Right. And at home, you can put it on trickle charge. I mean, I wouldn't personally do it, but you can put it on a 120 outlet or whatever your currency is. I mean, I would probably install a power. See that? I don't know. I mean, I saved my pennies for 6 years to get the money together to get a Model 3. I just haven't done it yet because there's a very, very non-insignificant part of my brain that likes having that like backup safety money. Yeah, 30 hours. I mean, again, it's just trickle charge overnight. Keep it topped off. Most places you can charge at work for free. Oh.
Yeah, Blue Love. I just remembered, we have a 440 in our garage. Yeah. We're all set up for an electric vehicle, aren't we? Or a truck.
And 220 or 440. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be doing like 120 unless this is an emergent, like there's no other option.
Yeah.
So I want to see some pictures of Steve welding.
Yeah, he's done that at work, but I don't get to see him do it at home usually.
Steve, do you have a Heliarc?
We used to in this house.
You ever play around
it might
with,
still be in there.
Welding aluminium? Ever do any of those dark arts?
I know his brother had made a Jacob's ladder and his father here in this house. So that was a thing. But they worked on cars, so that's why we had a 440.
Drone hammocks? I don't know what that is. I don't know, man. It's like I don't say I can weld, especially like stick welding. I'm not very good at that at all. TIG I can deal with. Line fed. I mean, I'm serviceable with that. I wouldn't trust anyone's life to it, but you know what I'm saying. All right. Heliarc was your brother's. All right. Well, hey, man, you get the wiring there for it. That's what's important. Get Steve in a nice sporty. Maybe we got to wait for the an electric minivan.
Yeah.
So you can paint it like the A-Team van.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe Volkswagen will redo the like microbus electric.
Hi, Becco Farm.
All right, that's my man, Steve. TIG welding. Get your line speed set. Good to go. It's like a portable mess maker, man. I love it. Cool, everyone. Yeah, it is 4:30, Joe.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, Steve does a lot of other things in the garage that a lot of people don't do, like a spray booth and his model building. He does everything else except wet welding. I think he welds plastic parts.
Plastic welding is a skill.
Yeah.
Drone hammock.
Oh, how funny. Oh my God, that would be scary.
I could just imagine, you know what, if you get injured doing that, I think it should be a law that any hospital should have the right to refuse service.
Yeah.
Show up. Like, you know what, just on the off chance you do manage to reproduce, let's just go ahead and cut that one off. Like, let's don't worry about it. Cool. All right, so it's Wednesday. Thursday is tomorrow, traditionally. Bit of a traditionalist with that. And Jordan will be up to something. No idea what. So keep a lookout. He might even do an announcement in the Discord server. Trying to get him on that. That's what I try to do. Mm-hmm. And Friday we'll be back with the Track Mania. We got some fun maps.
Yeah, we do.
I'm going to hopefully be back in this afternoon. I got a little bit last night. Got back in first place with a couple. Not that it's a competition. Nice. I mean, it just happened when I was playing. And getting ready for Friday. 14 maps. If you like AO1, we got AO1, but it's grass. People are having a fun time with that one. All right, beautiful people. Let's see you next time. Bye-bye.
Love you all. Yay.